Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coastline Sports Talk. We're here with Abraham on the phone. Abraham, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How about you?
It's beautiful. I'm feeling good because baseball is back in action, and we're talking all things Marlins, Rays, and Braves. We're hitting off everything pretty well. Baseball's back, and it's going to be great. We're talking prospects. We're talking everything involved with baseball. So if you guys don't like baseball, or if you're learning baseball, whatever it is, feel free to stay. It's going to be a fun one. Let's kick things off with some Marlins talk. Jose Urena, he started on opening day. The dude was working on his fastball command, location all off season. He's an electric guy. Well, he's talking about working all this stuff in the off season, and it only lasted for about one pitch. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I would agree. He'd have picked the first pitch of the season. He went yard. He only lasted 4 innings in that game, but as we see, one thing he really needs to work on is command, command, command. He hit 3 batters and he walked 4 guys, and that is a recipe for disaster. If you want to be the number one guy on the Marlins staff, you have to fix the command.
That's very true. He's a young pitcher, so you can't really fault him. Most of the time on opening day, you want to go with a veteran. Marlins don't have that veteran healthy. That veteran is not Jose. The veteran is Wei-Yin Chen. And he is on the disabled list, but they are using some young guys. And we saw Dylan Peters pitch in the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Left-hander, he threw really good against a good Chicago Cubs lineup.
Yes, he's southpaw from Texas, drafted in the 10th round in 2014. He has stuff, good stuff. He lasted 6 innings, struck out 2, but he let the batters put the ball in play, and his defense really helped him out, and he got the W.
That's very true. I saw him pitch last year in Double-A Jacksonville, Marlins organization. The dude is definitely a good pitcher. He's going to take his knocks a little bit because he's young. He got a cup of coffee in the bigs last season, and he's a good ball player. Sometimes the messes with location a little bit, but that's how it is in the big leagues. Facing that division, you got the Braves in there. They're up and coming. I'll talk about them later. You got the Phillies signing Jake Arrieta. Their lineup's better. And they also have the Nationals. Nationals, they're not going anywhere. And the Mets also. So that's pretty tough for a young pitcher, but he pitched against the Cubs, and he looked pretty darn good.
He did. Yes, sir.
So there's another guy pitching tonight with the name of Trevor Richards. Richards is a right-hander, and he's a good pitcher, it appears. Had a very good season last year in the minors. I think he spent time in Jacksonville and New Orleans. He looks to be a good pitcher. He's got a large upside, and hopefully he can throw well tonight.
Yes, Trevor Richards definitely has a high ceiling. During spring training, the front office was raving about this guy. His fastball is elusive, and tonight he is making his major league debut against the Red Sox. So, what a way to come out! Hopefully the young kid does well.
Oh yeah, they're really high on this kid because he's a right-hander. He's a good pitcher, and hopefully they can work it out pretty well. Third baseman Brian Anderson has a couple RBIs. He's a young third baseman. He spent time in the Marlins. Yeah, he got up last season, and he's bats right-handed, throws right-handed, and he seems to be a solid piece down there at third in the future.
Yes, last year he did some time, getting some experience. To start the 2018 season, he's batting 333, 5 RBIs with 6 hits. So he's doing well to start off the season. Guess you can only go up from here. We'll see how he does. He's only 24 years old, so this is especially the Marlins being young, to be a great experience for him.
That's very true. He's what's the word to describe him? He's a clutch hitter with the RBIs this early in the season. If he continues this out through the span, not to get ahead of ourselves, but he could easily have 100 RBIs. He's a good hitter. He uses all fields, and that's what you're looking for out of a young guy. You don't want guys that they can use a pole shift to. You want guys that can spread the ball all around, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
Another prospect we're talking about today is Lewis Brinson. Came over in the Brewers trade with Christian Yelich. Some people liked that deal. Some people didn't like it because losing a guy like Yelich, he's already proven. Brinson's a guy with good speed, no question about that. Good defense, just question the bat.
Yeah, you are right. Him coming over in the Christian Yelich deal. He is originally from Florida, so I bet it feels good for him to be back home. But Lewis Brinson is one of the top prospects in the game. Not only can he run, but he can field. I would say his prototype is almost a Byron Buxton, but as Buxton started to find his bat, and I believe Lewis Brinson could do the same thing. He won't have a lot of pressure being in Miami, so I think that will be good for him. I think this will be a coming out season for him.
That's very true. They have a similar guy on the ball club you can compare him to in the outfield named Cameron Maben. He's a good defensive player, good speed, and he's hit the ball a little bit. Good veteran guy, but they hope Brinson's better than Cameron Maben is. No knocks on Maben, but the future.
Maben will be there for the leadership for sure.
That's very true. It helps them with defense, helps them everywhere in the game, and it's good that they brought in a guy similar prototype and plays the game the way they hope Brinson will. So we're going to talk Rays baseball over here. Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, Jonathan Field, he has not played a game yet through the first series, but if we look back at his minor league stats, he was very productive. 12 home runs, 261 batting average. He didn't strike out a whole bunch, 57 RBIs. I think we will see him this weekend. Brandon Snyder, much like Jonathan Field, he hasn't seen any playing time in the bigs yet, and hopefully this next series he will. Now, the most coveted prospect Tampa Bay Rays have, his name is Brent Honeywell. When I say this kid is a stud, he's a right-handed pitcher. He's not only a right-handed pitcher, he throws a screwball, guys. A screwball.
Wow.
Not too many guys in the big leagues throw a screwball. Now, we saw him in the World versus USA game last year, and he dominated. The screwball was striking out a lot of guys. Now, we won't see Brent Honeywell with the Tampa Bay anytime soon because this past February he had Tommy John surgery.
And Tommy John to a young guy like that, that's not good to hear.
Yes.
I do remember seeing him in the World vs. USA game. Now that you bring him back up, he's a good pitcher. Hopefully he leads their rotation along with Archer and Blake Snell.
Yeah, he will when the Rays bring him up. He would definitely be in the front part of the rotation.
Man, screwball, that is something to talk about, man. That pitch, you don't see it very often. It's like a reverse curveball. So from the right-handed spot, it looks like he's throwing a left-handed curveball. Dips down and it throws it really well. It's surprising.
Sure.
So they have another guy out there. He's been in the bigs a little bit, but he's still pretty young. You like to talk about him. The name of Malek Smith. Malek Smith is a guy with good speed. He can hit the ball a little bit. He doesn't get too much time against the lefties. That's where they like Carlos Gomez. But talk about Malek Smith a little bit.
Yeah, Malek Smith, he can definitely run and he can field. We want to see his bat more in play, but he doesn't really hit for power, nor do we really expect him to. In the first series, he went 2 for 7. But what most people don't see is that his fielding is very valuable.
Yes, for sure. And the Rays also have, you can argue that they have one of the game's best closers, Alex Colomé. He doesn't get as big as hype as the other closers because they haven't been in the playoffs.
You're right. Alex Colomé, he does throw gas. He is very good. The reason we might not see, especially being in that division where the Red Sox, they have Craig Kimbrell, the Yankees have Aroldis Chapman, Delos Betances. So, maybe he's going to approach the season as an underdog. Maybe he wants to get up to those big dogs like Chapman and Craig Kimbrell.
Yes, that division is full of closers now that you think about it. Orioles get healthy, Zach Britton, and also Ozuna.
Right.
Ozuna in Osuna, that is, in Toronto. So, yeah, that division's full of closers. That's really good. They can finish off ball games. If you're a team in that division, you're down, then that's what you want to look for is bringing in that guy, knock him out.
Yes.
So we talk about that. What do you think the Rays' record will be end of the season, would you say?
I think they will win about 70 games.
That's fair, about somewhere around there. They're still a young team trying to build, and
very young team.
That ballpark gets a lot of wrath over the years, if you will. So maybe, they build for the future, they get a new ballpark, and hopefully that the
Yep.
Rays baseball's back in action.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we're talking Atlanta Braves right now. Top prospect Ronald Acuna. Some compare him to Mike Trout, but it's a huge comparison to Phil. But he's a good ball player. Very fast, has 5 tools. He knows what to do.
Yeah, he's a flat out stud. I think we can all agree on that. Ronald Acuna has a big arm. Not to go along with the big arm, he has a big bat. He can stroke it. He can hit it from gap to gap. Many guys cannot wait to see him in the big leagues this year. MLB Network, they had him the number 1 ranked prospect in the game, and he's ranked the number 1 prospect in the game for a lot of reasons.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the thing about Acuna, which is really weird, we talked about this in the last broadcast. He had a great spring training, and there's the whole service time thing really screwed him a little bit because the service time deadline is, I believe, Saturday, April 14th. So if you see Acuna just fly up to the bigs right then, they did keep him down for service time and not development. The Cubs did the same thing. Chris Bryant, keep him down, and they called him up. They just said, "Screw it, we call him up because we know he's good, and not needing him to develop anymore."
Mm-hmm. See, the thing is, we could bring the Braves could bring Acuna up as ASAP as soon as possible, but why bring him up? Really, if you don't really need him. Of course they need him, but let's look at the long run of things. The Braves, they're not going to do much this year, especially with the Nationals. The Nationals are the number 1. They're the favorites in that division, alongside with the Mets. So give it some time. Let Acuna get some at bats in the minors. Bring him up. They can bring him up in September, or bring him up sooner than that. Just like the Cubs went through Chris Bryant a couple years ago. Do you want him for the now, or let's think about in the long run of things?
That's very true. With the Cubs with Bryant, they brought him up in 2015, and believe it or not too many people can say this. Chris Bryant's played with the Cubs his whole career, and he's made the playoffs every year he's been there. So that's an interesting fact. Maybe the Braves call up Acuna. They might get it, but I don't see it happening this year. But for the future with the Braves, their pitching staff down the line is going to be downright scary.
Very scary. The number 2 ranked prospect in the system, Kyle Wright. Remember, he was drafted from Vanderbilt last year. The guy is straight filthy. I believe he's 6'6".
Yes.
I'm sorry, 6'4", 200 pounds, but throws hard. He is very good, alongside with Mike Soroka, Ian Anderson, they drafted 2 years ago, Colby Allard. The Braves, they have some young arms.
They also got Luis Gohara, and they have Sean Newcomb. Sean Newcomb could be the centerpiece of that rotation.
Yes,
Newcomb came over in the deal with the Angels for Andrelton Simmons. And Braves fans, they were scratching their head when they saw that. They see a guy, fan favorite, iconic piece in Atlanta, Andrelton Simmons. He gets traded, and they don't know what they're getting back. They're like, we just lost an all-star. But when you look at it, you see the upside for Newcomb, and you just get excited immediately.
I'm very excited for this Braves organization. They have guys that when they get to the bigs, they can really help in filling positions and filling spots that weren't being produced in the past few years.
Yes, and the Braves, to start off their season, talk about a good way. It got all the fans happy because not very often do you see this, but a walk-off home run to start the season, that was beautiful in SunTrust Park.
Also from the antics of the Phillies' new manager, taking out Aaron Nola in the 6th inning. And in the next game, I just weren't very happy about this, but the Phillies manager brought in, they were going to bring in a new pitcher, but the pitcher wasn't warmed up.
Yes, that's right. Brian Snitker got ejected, and Max Kepler, the new manager, was a little heated about that. You don't know what's going on, but I don't know what's up his sleeve for the future of that organization, but whenever you see something like that, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, and obviously, bet the fans at Philly are a little confused right now. But I think Gabe Kepler, he will get it together. He will have his team rally around him, and I think that situation will flatten out, and it'll all be fine.
Yes, and the second baseman and shortstop, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson. Talk about a good double play combo for the future. Those are some great infielders. Swanson struggles with the bat a little bit, but Albies, his potential is very high as long as Acuna as well.
Yeah, Dansby Swanson. That middle infield is for the foreseeable future. It will be good, and I feel like it will have a chance to be one of the top infielders in the game. Dansby Swanson, really, he did have a good first series. Batted 357, 5 hits, 2 RBIs, along with 2 runs. He did his job, especially being a shortstop. Just putting the ball in play, and he did a very good job of that.
That's true. We have some Braves roster moves to talk about here real quick. And the Braves, they have selected Anibal Sanchez from AAA and the catcher they acquired in the trade the other day, Carlos Perez. They traded Ryan Schimpf for him. And they did that, and the corresponding moves they have designated for assignment Miguel Sakalovich and placed Josh Raven on the disabled list for 10 days.
I think the moves with Anibal Sanchez and Carlos Perez, they want to get some veterans up there, some more leadership, and get an extra arm in the staff or in the bullpen.
Yes, that's true. And the Braves, they've been kind of unfortunate with the injury bug. First game of the year, they lose Tyler Flowers with an oblique. Next game, they take another one straight to the wrist.
Oh, no.
That would be Kurt Suzuki. So both catchers they had some trouble. That's made them go out and get Perez, go back there with Chris Stewart now. Suzuki didn't go on the DL, but they still banged up if they're calling up a catcher.
They definitely want to get that catcher spot. They want to get that figured out. They want to make sure that Flowers is healthy, and so is Suzuki. I think this will be a good time for Perez to get some experience and playing time in the big league.
Sounds good to me, too. Well, that's about all for today. I hope you guys enjoy. Please leave your comments below. Tell us what you'd like us to do. Go further, go shorter. Just anything you'd like to add. Any opinions or anything you'd like to go back on. We'd love to hear those things. Well, thank you, Abe, for joining us, and I hope you have a good day.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Well, hopefully you guys also have a great day, and I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. Keep listening. We tend to post every Tuesday and Friday. Sometimes we go earlier, sometimes we go later, but leave your comments below. We'd love to hear them. Have a good day.